Hi there, my lovely people. It's your friend, the Needle Woman, on today's tutorial. I'm excited to be with you guys today. I hope you guys are okay, by the way. I missed all of you. Thank you for your comments on my channel. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for subscribing. And if you are new to this channel, please don't leave without hitting that red icon and also touching the notification bell. Okay? So for today's tutorial, we're going to be making a turtleneck fitted dress with a very elaborate sleeve. Alright, and I'll be using this Ankara fabric for it. I'm not going to be saying how many yards I'll be taking from it until when I'm done with my tutorial. Then I'll give you how many yards I used out of the one piece of Ankara fabric. Alright, let's hit the cutting table. But before we do that, please don't ever be tempted to intimidate someone. Whatever you got by grace, do not use it to disgrace someone else. Let's just get started. So I'll be using this one piece of Ankara fabric for it. By the time I'm done, I will measure out what is left and then tell you how many yards of this fabric I ended up using. Okay, now I'm going to be cutting the down panel first of all. Okay, it's just going to be like a normal skirt, and then the upper part is going to be a bustier. I will do the upper part without showing it, and then when it comes to the neckline, we will talk about that. Okay, so I'll just proceed to fold my fabric into 4 to cut both the front and the back panel together for the lower part. Okay, so with my fabric on fold into 4 places, the length is 29. I'll be making it 30.5. Okay, I added 1.5 inches extra. This is 30.5. Waist is 31 into 4 will give us 7.75. I'll move down by 9 inches from the waist. That is my hip line. My hip is 46 divided into 4 will give us 11.5. I'll add my 2 inches, see my allowance. Now for this waist area, I'll add 3 inches. That is 1 for that and 2 for allowance. Okay. So for here now, I have to drag my hip measurement as usual down to the hem line. Okay. That's 13.5. All the way down to the hem line. I'll connect my waist to my hip. So at this hemline, I'm moving in by 2 inches, and then I'll end up connecting the 2 inches to my hip line again. Okay. Okay. So now this is what we have. My zip allowance is 2.5 inches, so I will now proceed to cut. Okay, so this here is our skirt block, the lower part of our dress. And this also is the upper part, that is the bodice. I needed not to show this one. I'm sure all of us are familiar with it, okay? But I didn't include any neckline. So we're going to be discussing the neckline right away. So first I'm going to input my 3 inches shoulder slope. Three inches here, 1 inch here. Okay. And then for the neckline, since this is a turtleneck, I'm going to be working with neckline of 3.5 inches. And then for the volume, I'll be using 4.5 inches. Okay, 3.5 inches, the volume 4.5 inches. This is for the front. And then for the back, I will use 1.5 inches. I hope I didn't confuse you guys. The 1.5 inches is for the back neckline. The 4.5 inches is for the front neckline. Okay, so I will now cut it. First the back neckline, and then the front. Okay, so here now is our neckline. Okay, so now here for the sleeve. Now I have marked out our basic short sleeve. I've made a tutorial on this, so I didn't think it wise to waste our time with it. So from here is from our shoulder to our elbow. Okay, now the elbow measurement is 12 inches. That is 6. And then I added 1.5 inches allowance. Okay, that is why my line is here. All right, now for the length of my sleeve, it's 35, but I'll be adding 1 inch extra for fold, so I'll be making it 36. Okay, now at the other end of the sleeve by this side is going to be a little bit longer than the folded side. Okay, so whereas I made my length at the folded side 36, for the length at the unfolded side, that is the armhole area, this line, I'll be making it 37.5. Okay, so I'll just draw it into a straight line. All right, so this first line is 36 inches. This is 37.5 inches. Okay, and now since we have determined the circumference of our elbow here, all I need to do, or you need to do, is to just spread it out gradually from this point to as wide as you want it to be. I hope you saw what I did. To as wide as you want it to be. My friends will still ask me, how many inches did I use? This is 31 inches. Okay, and then you slightly curve it. Remember, this, like I said, this one is longer than the folded side. The armhole area is longer than the folded side, so you have to curve it from this 37 inches to meet our 36 inches. This is what I mean. I hope you now understand better. So it is safe to wipe this one off. I hope you guys understood. Let me repeat it again. This second line here was 37.5 inches, this one 36, but I said that on our armhole area is going to be a little bit longer than the folded area. Okay, now whereas the folded area is 36 inches, I prolonged it by 1.5 inches. Now after I drew this line, because this is supposed to be longer than this one, I slightly curved our 37 inches from this longer part to meet this 36 inches, so I can comfortably wipe this one off from this area. I hope I'm well understood. So with this now, if you like, you can decide to make your own wider. Okay, So I will just proceed and cut this particular one out, and then I'll use it to cut our second sleeve. So this is now what we have. What it means is that from this point to our elbow is going to be fitted, and then from the elbow down is going to be wide. Okay, I'll proceed to cut the second sleeve. All right, and then cut the lining for both our upper and lower panels. All right, so I've lined the skirt block. As you can see, that is the lower part of our dress. As you can see it, these are the two back panels neatly lined. I've also inserted the darts. Okay, now this one is the sleeve. I also lined it. This is the sleeve. Okay, and these are the bodies, the front and the back panel. Okay. Now as you can see, I only closed the two sides of the front, and as for the back, I closed the zipper area and the waist area, the side. I did not close the neckline of both the front and the back. Okay, the next will be to now join our bodies together at the shoulder. So this is how we're going to do it. You join this one. I hope you see what I'm doing. Now when you turn it, it's supposed to be like this. Okay, so you join and also join this one too. You just make your stitch here, then you close up the armhole area together. It's just so you hide the rough edges. Okay, you can as well close up the armhole area before joining them at the shoulder, but then these rough edges will show. But if you do it first before the closing, it means you have neatly put it inside, and that is what I'm going to do. I'll just close up the two shoulders. I'll join them and then turn it over, close up the armhole area and the neck area. Those ones are going to be rough because we are still going to attach the sleeve and the neck at the neckline. Okay, so now as you can see, I've joined it at the shoulder. The same way you join the fabric to the shoulder is the same way you're going to be joining the lining also. Okay, so I will also join the lining the same way I joined the fabric at the shoulder. All right, then I'll close up the armhole area. All right, so now having join them together, both the lining and the fabric at the shoulder, I've also closed the armhole area. This is the armhole area, and this here is the neckline. I hope you understand it. Neckline, armhole. Now this is okay. For the turtleneck, I'll be showing you two ways I achieve my own turtleneck. Okay, so I'll be showing you two ways that I achieve my turtleneck. The first one, you need to measure the circumference of this neckline area. When you measure it, you use that measurement to cut out a straight fabric, a straight pieces of clothes, but it's going to be in excess. Assuming the neckline we get here is say 30, you should measure like 40 or 45 of this straight fabric. Okay, now when you measure it, you place it on fold, determine the wideness of your turtleneck. Okay, also don't forget to include your seam allowance. Assuming you want to use 2 inches as the wideness of your turtleneck, you can make it 2.5 inches when on fold. That is, if not on fold, 5 inches. Okay, so that you will use the 1/2 inch as your seam allowance. Now after that, you now randomly, but with the same measurement, notch this straight fabric. So you randomly notch your fabric on the folded side, on the rough side, not on the folded side. As you can see, I've placed my notch You can see them at interval, but they need to be of the same measurement. If you want to use 2 inches, make sure you are using 2 inches all the way. Now you can see this is 2 inches, 2 inches, all of them 2 inches away from each other. Okay, now you will need to close up this rough edge. Just stitch it together so it can no longer open. With that done, the next thing you should do is following this notch. You see the way I folded it. This is where I placed my notch. You fold it and then you stitch again. Now on this rough side, you have to take very tiny material, but on the folded side, you go in either by half an inch. I hope you get me. You go in either by half an inch. You continue that way. You continue that way. It should be something like this. Your stitch is going to be something like this, slanting, okay? You continue that way until you have finished the pieces of cloth you cut out. It should give you something like this. Now, as you can see, I hope you can see it. I have done it here. Now, if you are to place it around your neck, it's still going to give you the turtleneck. This is it. I prefer to use this one because it is safer to amend and is also more comfortable, except the material is stretchy. Okay, so this is one way of achieving your turtleneck. You can see the way I carefully did it. When you get it correctly, it shouldn't stand straight again, so that you can fold it any way you want and it will not have any crease of any sort. I hope you can see it. All right, let's go to the second method. Okay, now for the second method, we are going to be using an interlining for it. It's always very safe that you do it first on an interlining, then you transfer it to your fabric. And of course, you are still going to end up using the interlining for that same neck. All right, so now my interlining is on fold already. If you have a straight interlining, you can use it. Don't worry that this one is curvy. See the same thing. Now you grab your fabric, making sure, you see, you have to fold it first, making sure that each of the shoulders are at the same point with each other. Okay. With that done, you now place it on your interlining. You also make sure that the folded edge on your fabric is at the same level with the folded edge of the interlining, so that you don't end up having too much excesses. Okay. Now you stretch it out well. You see the way I did my own. You see the way I did it. The next thing will be to just use your marker or pen or whatever to just draw out the shape like so. Okay, so now this is what we have. All right, now before now you should have measured your client to know the circumference of the person's neck to determine how tight or how loose the turtleneck should be. Now if you have done that, all you need to do is to place that measurement of your clients here. Going around my neck, for example, it is 15 inches. Okay, but you can safely make it 16 inches. I hope you got me. You can make it 16 inches, which is 8 since my fabric is on fold. All right. The next thing will be to just draw it out. If you like, you can also determine the width of the turtleneck. All right. You draw it out. So now this is what we have. So as it is now, you can comfortably cut it out. And when you do that, it's going to give you something like this, which when placed against your neck, it will still give you a turtle neck. I hope you can see it. So both of these two methods can work for you. But if you are a learner, I will advise that you use the first method, because it is always very easy to amend. But if you made a mistake in this one, there's no way you can amend it except to remove it, throw it away, and then do another one. All right. Okay, still on the second method, if you have cut it out this way, all you need to do is place it against your fabric and cut it out. All right, you are going to be cutting two, because this one now will end up being inside your fabric, and then you need another fabric or lining to cover it up. I hope I'm well understood, my lovely people. All right, like I said, I'll be using this one. This is the one I like using. All right, so I will just go straight to my machine, start attaching this turtleneck on my fabric like so. I will just sew it round, and by the time I put my zip, it will come together as a turtleneck. So looking at it now, I've attached it, and you can see how it came out. Okay, now I also need to advise, if you are not making the turtleneck on a dress that will hide the stitch line, there's no point using this. You use this method, okay, because it will now show the stitch lines and it will not be too beautiful to behold, okay. But if it's on a fabric that can hide the stitch line, I will advise you go with this, because this is actually very easy and smooth also. Okay, now with this done, we are going to now attach the skirt block to our fabric. All right, I will attach the front to the front and the back to the back. Okay, so now I've joined both the upper and the lower part together. I've also closed the back side, leaving only the zipper area. Okay, so I'll just proceed, insert my zip. I'll insert my zip, close it up at the two sides using the body measurements. I don't think I need to show that one. We all know that already. Okay, and then we'll talk of the sleeve. Okay, so this is the sleeve. All right, and this here is the measurement of from the shoulder to the elbow. This is the line you have here from my shoulder to the elbow. Okay, now all you need to do is to close your sleeve up. Before then, you should have measured your client both the elbow and the upper arm. Okay, now it is the measurement you have that you will now use to close up this upper arm and the elbow. That is why I drew this line here. Okay, and then we are closing this sleeve up to this elbow measurement. Once we get here, we will stop. This other side will now be left open like this. I hope it's clear. So I'll go to the machine, close it up like so to this elbow point, and then leave the others open and insert it to the body of my dress. All right, so this is our dress. The sleeve is almost as long as the dress. Okay, here is going to be open this way. All right, and also the turtleneck. I hope you can see it. So beautiful, so beautiful. Okay, so for this tutorial today, I used 3.5 yards of Ankara fabric. Okay, 3.5 yards of Ankara fabric. So thank you, lovely people, for being with me till the end. I sincerely appreciate your time. Thank you for inspiring me to be better at what I do. Thank you so very much for your comments. And if you are new to this channel, please don't leave without hitting that red icon to subscribe. Okay, and also touching the notification bell enables you get notifications once I upload. Alright, and if this video and tutorial has been helpful to you, please give us thumbs up and don't also forget to share our videos. And if it hasn't, please give me thumbs down to encourage me to do more, not out of animosity anyway. Till I get to meet you in my next tutorial, I love you from the bottom of my heart. I sincerely do. And please take very, very good care of yourself. And I advise you, please, don't intimidate anyone and don't fall prey to intimidations. Bye.